Good day everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to a new review. Today I'm taking a look at a cheap smartphone from China called the Homtom HT16. And when I say cheap, I did pay for this phone under $50, so I paid for it $49, so very cheap. I do believe it costs around $55 about now, but $55 for a phone it's not bad. And you can find some links in the video's description. For that price, we do get a 5-inch screen with a resolution of 720p, a MediaTek 6580 processor, so a quad-core processor, 1GB of RAM, 8GB of internal storage, and running Android 6. We also have a 3000 mAh battery inside this phone. So on paper, the specs do look rather good for the price. As you're probably expecting, the phone doesn't feel that premium, and that's normal because the price is so low. So the back, it's made out of plastic like the rest of the phone. We do have this interesting texture onto the back. I mean, it is a bit different than anything that we've seen. We do have a 5 megapixel sensor camera right there, the flash underneath that, and underneath that we see the brand name. Now the brand name looks a bit different because it's sitting onto the side of the phone, so a bit different than most of the phones that we are used to. Although at the bottom we're gonna see the speaker, and since I'm talking about the speaker does get rather loud, but it does seem a bit distorted at maximum volume. And it is rather easy to cover it because it's sitting on the back, so whenever you're holding the phone like this, you could probably cover the speaker very easily. What looks to be like the frame of the phone, it's actually connected to the back of the phone, so whenever you remove the back cover, you're actually removing that plastic frame that you see around the phone. Even the buttons are actually made out of plastic, so the volume keys and the power button are also made out of plastic. Now, removing that back cover, we're gonna see the battery. The battery is a 3000 mAh battery, and I did expect that it was gonna last for quite some time because the screen is not that big. Now, battery life wasn't great and I was expecting a lot more, so I wasn't able to get that much screen on time, and if you just leave the phone sitting, the battery just drains by itself. So the battery life, it's not the absolute best. Aside from the battery, onto the back there we have two slots for two micro SIM cards and a slot for an SD card. And since the phone has Android 6, so I thought that you could easily install the SD card as internal storage. Well, that is not possible onto this phone. So if you go to storage and USB, you're gonna see the total available space, which is wrong for some reason. It shows up at 16 gigs and in reality we only have 5. And since I'm talking about this, this is the speed for the internal memory. So not the fastest, not the slowest, but nothing special. So back to that SD card. When you insert the SD card, you don't actually have the option to make the SD card as internal storage, which is rather disappointing because 8 gigs of internal storage goes very fast if you install a couple of games. So that's the thing with the storage and USB for this particular phone. Putting the cover back onto the phone and looking on top of the phone, you're gonna find the 3.5mm audio jack and the charging port. And since I'm talking about the charging port, if you do charge this phone with a fast charger, it does charge in about an hour and a half. So very fast. Most phones take like 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. So yeah, very fast if you actually use a fast charger. Moving to the front of the device, so we have a 5-inch screen with a resolution of 720p. The viewing angles are acceptable for the price. I mean, I wasn't expecting the best screen out there. So the viewing angles are acceptable. The screen brightness could be improved because the screen doesn't get that bright. And since we are talking about brightness, if you do go outside, there is so much reflection onto the screen that you can't really see anything in bright daylight. So that is the downside to this phone. The screen, it's not the absolute best. But let's keep in mind the price of the device. Although at the bottom of the screen we have some buttons, but they don't light up, and that is normal for, again, the price of the phone. And on the top side of the screen we just have a 2 megapixel camera, the proximity and light sensor, and the speaker. This phone does not have a notification light. As I said before, the phone it's running Android 6, and on top of that we have Homtom's skin. Now it doesn't look bad and it is very close to Android. Scrolling between screens and apps, it's done without any lag. So whenever you move from one screen to another, it's done very good. The settings app looks nice and organized, so I don't have any issues with it whatsoever. It does look rather good. We do have some smart options or features, if you want to call them features. One of them is the fact that whenever the screen is off, you can like write a letter or do a gesture onto the screen and the phone would like turn on or open an app or whatever. That feature doesn't work that good, so it works sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, you can't really use it because it does get a bit annoying if it doesn't work 2-3 times. Now we do have another cool feature. It's like a floating window, multitasking window basically. It's like a little dot, you press on it and then you can just choose some apps, like move back from apps, and it is a rather cool feature, and yeah, I'd like to see that in some more expensive phones. On the Antutu benchmark, we get a score of about 24,000, and I did see this score for this type of processor and RAM, so a very normal score, and considering the price of the phone, I think it's a rather good score. On the CPU app, we can just confirm everything that we know about the phone, so pretty much everything that we already know. Now, sensors wise, the phone only has 3 sensors, which is normal for this price. Again, the price is very low, but all the sensors work okay, and I'm happy to see that they didn't actually put more sensors that are like fake, because a lot of Chinese companies have fake sensors onto these tests. So I'm happy to see that the sensors that we have actually work very good. The GPS on the phone, so it does take about 25-30 seconds for the GPS to connect. If you are in between buildings, it does lose connection every now and then. You can use Google Maps, alright, but yeah, if you're like in a big city and in between buildings, it does tend to lose connection every now and then. If you're not in a big city and you're just driving around on an empty street, it does work really good. I should have touched on this when I was talking about the screen, but the screen can only be touched in 2 places in the same time. The screen sensitivity is rather good, so it is better than other phones, let's say Doogie X5 Max Pro. So the screen sensitivity onto this one, it's much better than that phone, so I'm happy to see that. The HT16, it's only a 3G device, and even though a lot of us don't actually make phone calls with this phone, I did make a couple of phone calls so I can check out the speaker. It does get rather loud on top here, and everybody was able to hear me okay. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing special, so it is like any other phone. Call quality is okay, nothing amazing, nothing less than amazing, so it's just a normal phone that makes phone calls. And since we are talking about 3G connectivity and Wi-Fi, the phone does get some normal speeds on the speed test app on Wi-Fi, and some normal speeds on 3G. I mean, nothing special again, it's just like any other smartphone that we've seen in the past. So these are the speeds that we got for the speed test app. All the apps that I've tried, for example, the Play Store works without any issues. The YouTube app works very good, no lag, the video goes nice and smooth. It does take a second or so after it starts up till it buffers or so, but yeah, the quality it's okay. The maximum resolution on YouTube, it's gonna be 720p, just like the maximum resolution of the screen. But yeah, the YouTube app works really good. The browser also works really good. We've seen this MediaTek 6580 processor in a lot of phones, and it does tend to go rather good. I did do a gaming test, and I left a link in the top right corner or the video's description if you want to check out that particular gaming test. The last things I want to touch on are the cameras. So the front-facing camera and the rear camera. On the front we have a 2 megapixel sensor, and on the back we have a 5 megapixel sensor. The camera app looks like any other MediaTek camera app, very boring. We don't have that many options, so like most of these cheap smartphones, the camera app kind of sucks. It does take a while to actually take a picture, so it takes a bit for the picture to focus. If we don't have enough light, the pictures don't turn out great either. With a lot of light, they are acceptable for social media and so on, but don't expect that you're gonna take some amazing pictures. I will show you a couple of sample pictures that I took with this phone. So front-facing camera, again, it is gonna be okay for like video calling and a selfie every now and then, but don't expect amazing results. And again, you're gonna see some samples that I took with the rear camera in good light, because low light conditions, the pictures turn out horrible. So yeah, you're not gonna take any pictures at nighttime with this particular smartphone. So in conclusion, It is a very cheap phone. I mean, under $50 depending where you buy it from, and for that under $50 I do believe that the phone works really good. I love the way that the games played onto this phone, like very well. I haven't had any issue with any game, and I did play a lot of games on it. So very good for gaming. Call quality is okay, Wi-Fi reception it's good. I mean, it is a cheap phone. I can't expect that much from it. The screen doesn't get that bright, but realistically a lot of more expensive phones don't have amazing screens. So overall, for $49-50 I do believe that this is a very good phone to buy. I mean, if that's the only money that you have and you need the phone, this is probably gonna do for a few months. I wish the battery would have been better, because with this type of a battery, a 3000 milliamp battery, getting only about an hour of screen on time, yeah, that is rough. But the good part is that you can like charge it very fast to the fast charger. So overall, I think it's a good phone for the price. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you did like the video, press that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.